Hi guys, Technical Roberator here. I am going to go ahead and do this video. I just finished a video on my M&P. This is an M&P 40 full size. However, the dimensions and everything are the same as the M&P 9. There's not really any changes other than the barrel, the extractor, and the ejector are made for the 40 caliber. Everything else is pretty much the same on the two guns. So as I just said, I was going to do a comparison between it and the Glock 19 because I've only seen one video out there comparing these two, and I kind of just wanted to give you, something else to look at besides those two if these are two possible guns that you're interested in getting. As I stated in my other video, I feel like the Glock 19 is a better comparison, or better compared to the M&P full size than it is the M&P compact, even though Glock calls the Glock 19 their compact size pistol. I feel like the M&P compact is closer in specifications and in size to the Glock 26. So we'll go ahead and just get to this review. The M&P has a 4.25 inch barrel, where the Glock 19 has a 4-inch barrel. The Glock 19 holds 15 rounds. The M&P full size holds 17 rounds. However, the Glock 19 does accept Glock 17 magazines, which allows it to hold 17 rounds also. It just sticks out the bottom of the frame a little bit more. As far as some differences between these two guns, I'll go ahead and show them to you as best I can. If I put them both on their barrels and stand them up, you can see that they are really close to the same size. As far as the thickness goes, I believe the Glock is roughly an inch thick and the M&P is 1.2 inches thick. So the M&P is a little bit thicker through the slide, but the Glock is a little bit thicker through the frame here on the sides. So there's that difference. The grips, as you can see, the M&P is a little bit longer than the Glock 19. But that is what allows it to hold 2 extra rounds. I carry both of these guns inside the waistband. I don't really have any problems carrying either one of them, even though this one's slightly larger. It doesn't really give me any issues. Other things, now I choose, because of my hands and the way that I shoot and the way that I like to grip the gun, I prefer the beaver tail backstrap just because it's more comfortable for me. So size-wise, that makes it a little more comparable to the M&P because it has a natural beaver tail. I put the large grip on the Glock to make it a little thicker, just so I can get a little bit better grip on there with the Glock, so my fingers line up really well with the finger grooves. I do an undercut on the trigger guard, really easy, and undercut for my support hand as well, and that just helps with the way that I hold on to the gun, and it just feels more comfortable to me that way. This is a Gen 4, so it does have the more aggressive texture, which I like a lot better than the Gen 3. I find that I don't need to put any sort of grip tape or anything. I actually stippled my Glock 17 Gen 3, so I don't need to do that with this. I feel like I get a lot more positive traction, especially when I'm wearing gloves. And it's also on the back and then in between the finger grooves. So it's got a lot grippier texture than the Gen 3 Glock did. Another difference between this and the Gen 3 Glock, and this is also a difference between the M&P and the Glock, so I'll go ahead and break both of them down and show you, is it has a dual captured guide rod recoil spring right here, and it is plastic, and I'm not a fan of that. I can honestly say that I've shot thousands of rounds through Glocks. I've never had one melt. I've never had one malfunction, but that's not to say that it can't happen, because I'm sure that it can, given the right circumstances. But the M&P does come standard with a stainless steel guide rod, and I'll go ahead and break the M&P down. These guns were both checked prior to the filming of this video, so I knew that they were both safe. But as you can see, it's just a single stainless steel recoil spring in the M&P, and I like that. It's durable. You can't go wrong with stainless steel. You can't, you know, just like the sights on the M&P are metal sights versus the polymer sights that come on the Glock. That's always something that you want to change. I like night sights. I haven't got any on the M&P yet. This is fairly new. It does have the 3 dots, and I do intend on changing the sights out on both of these guns. So then it won't make as big of a difference because I'm going to change the sights anyway. But right out of the box, the M&P comes with a better guide rod, in my opinion, and a better sight system. The dual recoil spring is supposed to help with recoil. I don't really notice a whole lot of difference between my Gen 3, Gen 4, and even my Gen 2 Glock 19s. They all recoil about the same. Now with Glock, you get the safe action trigger, and there's a drop safety in here. Those are pretty much the only safeties that you get. This little piece here will stick out as a loaded chamber indicator, but it's not really that noticeable. You can feel it with your finger though when there is a round in the chamber. The M&P has a split safe action trigger. I don't know if they call it a safe action trigger, but it is split, and the bottom has to be depressed. But I've found that there's not, even if I try to push it at the top, my finger rolls and it engages anyway. So I mean, and it's flat, smooth trigger. I don't really have any problems at all shooting this or the trigger not engaging. Excuse me. It is more ambidextrous friendly due to the fact that the slide release and the slide stop is full-time ambidextrous. You can change the mag release so that it is ambi also. On the Gen 4 Glocks, you can switch the mag release as well so that it can be for left-hand friendly. But the slide lock is always on the left-hand side. It's preferred for a right-hand shooter. So I like the fact that the M&P is, you know, has the same amount of safeties as the Glock. But for people who prefer more safeties, you can get an M&P that has a magazine disconnect safety. I don't know why you would want that, but that is an option. You can get one like that, and you can get one with an ambi thumb safety. So if safety is something, you know, that you like to go above and beyond on, there are models of the M&P that have more safeties, where the Glock just comes how the Glock is. There's not really any other safety options for the Glock, while the M&P has 2 different ones. You can get it with the thumb safety, you can get it with the magazine safety, or you can get it with both, or you can get it with none, just like the one that I have here. I get asked a lot which gun I would prefer out of the 2, the Glock or the M&P. I've been a Glock person. My first pistol ever was a Gen 2 Glock 19. I love Glocks. And up until M&P changed the trigger setup of the full-size and compact M&Ps, I was hands down a fan of the Glock pistols because I really didn't like the trigger on the M&P. However, now I like the M&P. I'm going to say that I like it better for a couple reasons. Ergonomics, it's much more comfortable to hold. I like the fact that it comes with metal sights. I like the fact that it comes with a metal guide rod. I like the fact that it is ambi friendly. My girlfriend is left-handed, and hers will be configured for a left-handed person. So I like that. It's definitely more comfortable to hold, and when shooting the gun, I feel like there is less felt recoil with the M&P than there is with the Glock. That could be all in my mind, I don't know, but it feels like a softer shooting gun than what the Glock does. Not that there's anything wrong with the Glock, because there's certainly not. It's a tested, proven gun. And all in all, the M&P might not have ever even came about and been what it is today if it weren't for the Glock, which has been out since 1982, was when the Glock 17 was introduced. So the Glock is groundbreaking technology. The Glock is tested, proven, it's reliable. It's a workhorse. It's a tool that you definitely want to have in your bag. If I had to choose one right now, it's easy for me to say that at this point in time I would choose the M&P, but that's because I know that I have a Glock anyway. I live in America, so therefore I'm allowed to own guns. I've got several different models of Glocks. I've got different models of M&Ps. I've got different models, you know. We're allowed to own guns here, and that's something that I appreciate, and that's something that I'm happy about. So as long as I don't have to choose between them, really, I can say that I'll choose the M&P. But just always know that I'm always going to have a Glock as well. When it comes down to the 9mm and the 40 right now, I will for sure choose the M&P just because of everything that I've said so far. When it comes to the 45 ACP, I would choose a Glock. I would choose the Glock 21 over the M&P 45. Also hands down, without hesitation. I like the Glock. I can shoot the Glock well. The Glock feels good to me in my hand. I don't mind the fact that it doesn't have extra safeties that different models of the M&P offers, and the Glock 21 comes with a 13+1 round magazine compared to the M&P 45's 10+1 magazine. Now some people will say 10+1 rounds of 45 is all that you'll need. That could be true, but it's better to have too many than too little, in my opinion. And being that I like the way the gun feels, I like the way the Glocks shoot, I like the Glock triggers. I wanted a trigger on the M&P that was more like the trigger on the Glock, and that's if they wouldn't have changed the trigger in the M&P, I would be not interested in it. But since they did, I like it. I like the new design of it. But I'll always love Glocks. I'll always own Glocks, and when it comes to a 45, a Glock 21 is what I prefer. It's what I have, and I also have a Glock 30, which is a 10+1, and that's a compact Glock 45, and it is roughly the size of the Glock 19, only it's thicker. They do have a slim frame version of it. There's a bunch of videos of it online. I've got a video of my Glock 30. It's not the slim frame, but I've got a Glock 30 video online. I've got to do a Glock 21 video, but that's just a quick comparison of these two guns. I hope that you liked the video. Please like, subscribe, leave any questions, comments, concerns you have down at the bottom. Give me your input, which gun you like better and why. There's a lot of people that are either 100% Glock and they don't want anything to do with the M&P, or they think Glocks are junk and they're all about the M&P. That's not me. I think they're both wonderful guns. I like both of them. Ergonomically, I definitely like the M&P. It feels better in my hand, and when I'm firing a 40 caliber rounds through it, I have no issues. It's been reliable. It's been just as reliable as the Glock. It's been just as reliable as the Glock firing 9mm through it, but as I said, I've only fired I've only fired 50 rounds through it. One box of Winchester white box 115 grain cheap ammo, and I'm going to fire several different types of ammo through it with the 9mm barrel in it, because I want to be, you know, as sure as I can be that I don't need to change that extractor and I don't need to change that ejector before I carry it on a regular basis in the 9mm configuration. But I'll give you one more look of them here side by side, and we'll end the video with that. Thanks, guys.